So hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Tomi here once again. So today I just wanted to come to you guys with a really quick story time video, and just to give you guys a little background on me and on the topic. If you guys don't know, I'm a computer engineering major at my school. I'm a senior. Thankfully, I'll be graduating very soon, which I'm really excited about. 4 years is a long time in college. Anyway, so in the computer engineering field, we don't really, well, in engineering fields as a whole, we don't really have that many minorities. So I'm black, so that would be considered a minority. And there aren't enough, honestly, there aren't enough black people in engineering fields, and there aren't enough women in engineering fields as well. So just to go back on that a little bit, since I started at my school, the higher I've gotten, the less black people I see. So in most of my classes, especially most of my major specific classes, I will be the only black person. If I'm not the only black person, then I'm the only black female. And even at most, there's not more than 3 black people in a class of maybe 50. And so when I mean black, I mean African and Black Americans as a whole. Like, our whole skin color, we're all the same. So in my computer engineering class, this class was called, I don't know why I can't remember. This class was called operating systems. You know, operating systems, like when you turn on your computer, you either have Linux, Mac, Windows, whatever operating system that computer might use. Just like on your phone, you have iOS, and you have a Windows phone, and you have Android as well. All of that into one. So I remember before I actually took this class, I had a few friends that took the class a little bit beforehand. Like, I had a few friends that took this class before, and so they were basically telling us that on his quizzes and on his exams, he asks trick questions, and you think that the answer is one thing, but the answer really isn't, and he'll ask you like stupid questions like that. So so I made sure I kept that in mind as I was going into this class. In this class, again, I was the only black person in this class of about 40 to 45 people. Big classroom. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot. In, like, the higher you go, the smaller the classes, and so that class isn't supposed to be that big, if you get what I'm saying. Like, usually we have like 12 to 30 people in a classroom as you get higher and higher up in your major. So 45 people in a classroom was a lot. I remember on our first quiz, I had studied up. I really studied for that quiz because, you know, they said that they were gonna that the professor would ask trick questions. So the professor is white. I forgot to mention that the professor is white. Anyway, the quiz came about. I took my quiz. I was really happy about it afterwards. I knew I had done something, even if I guessed on a few questions. On some of the questions I didn't know, but I knew that, you know, probably what I guessed was the right answer because they were trick questions, you know. So I have a few other friends in that class, and sometimes I look down on myself, so I usually don't think that I'm smarter than somebody else. It's not a racial inferiority complex or anything like that. That's just how I am. I usually feel like people that study a lot, because I don't study that much, people that study a lot are probably a lot smarter than me. So time comes around and he's giving us back our quizzes. So we got back our quizzes, and I hadn't gone back mine yet, and so I looked over at my friends who were at this side, and they were really looking at their papers in disbelief, like, oh my gosh, how did I get this wrong, blah 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 blah. And so, you know, I was kind of scared, like, you know, if they're getting stuff wrong, then what am I gonna get? Because, you know, I really felt like I wasn't gonna do as well as them. I don't remember what the highest score in the class was, but I do know that I did get one of the highest scores. And so when the professor said my name, they butcher it all the time, they don't even try. And so he was trying to say my name or whatever. And so when I finally raised my hand and I was like, hey, that's me, he basically looked at me, he looked at my paper, and he took a double take, like, how did you get this score? And I was like, excuse me? Can I have my paper, please? Like, please, can you give me my paper? And it just made me feel really weird. Like, at that point in time, like, I had never thought that I had experienced racism before, but then at that very point in time, like, I was just like, can I have my paper back? Why are you looking at me like that? Why what's wrong? And on that day, I had beat my face to the gods. And so, you know, there are certain times where I know Africans can tell each other, like, oh, he's African, oh, they're African, or whatever. But to everybody else that's not African, I look black. You know, I look like a black American. And so you would expect my name to be English. And so I'm very sure he was not expecting that name, that foreign name, to match a black girl with her face beat sitting in class. And so when he looked at me and he looked at my paper, he was just like, here you go. And I'm like, excuse me. And I was so mad. Anyway, when I looked at my paper, I realized I had gotten one of the highest scores in class. And so basically his expression said, how could this black lady in class, how could this black girl in my class that doesn't, because I don't pay attention in class, I'm really just on my laptop. I'm just always on my laptop or doing something. I never actually listen. So he's probably like, how did this black girl in class that never listens to my class get such a high score on this quiz? Excuse me, how did that happen? And so that's exactly how I felt when he was giving me my paper. I was just like, you know, why would you give me that look? Like, are you surprised to see a foreign name with the only black person in your class, and that person happened to get one of the highest scores on this quiz in your class? Like, what are you looking at me like that for? So I was really angry that day. I was happy that I got a good score on my quiz, but I was just so angry that why is it a surprise that somebody who is black, I don't care what anybody has to say about it, I believe that he looked at me like that because I was black and my face was beat and I didn't look like a serious computer engineering student, which I don't really care. Peak Mill is computer engineering too and electrical engineering, and she got her face beat too, so I don't really care. But he would be so surprised that I got one of the highest scores in his class, being the only black person. I was like, why? So anyway, going on further down the line, I needed help on one of my homeworks, and I had tried everything, and I just couldn't get it. So I went to his office, and there were like a other group of people as well, and I was basically asking, you know, I was asking specific questions so that I could get my homework done. And I wasn't asking for the answers, I was just asking for help. Now, tell me why this professor basically just said, you figure it out. And then the little white girl that was sitting next to me over here, I have nothing against white people. This white girl that was sitting next to me was asking him something along the same lines, and he basically helped her and he didn't help me. I'm just like, excuse me, like, why aren't you helping me? I asked you for help. Why aren't you helping me? But you're helping this little girl that's right next to me. Like, I really don't care what anybody says. That professor was racist, and ever since then I never went to his office hours again. I made sure I did really well in that class, and I didn't do as well as I had predicted. I got a B, but I got a good B, and I was very, very happy, and I never went to him for help again, and you will never see me in any of his classes. I'm just happy that was a required class and I had to take that class, because if it wasn't required and I didn't have to take it, I probably would have dropped that class real quick, because that professor was just trifling. He was trifling, and it just angers me that, you know, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if he wasn't racist to somebody else, but it just angers me that I would come to you for help as a professor, a student coming to a professor for help, and you would totally ignore my request. But then the next person to me would ask you for help, and you would help her, and she just happens to be someone of a different race than I am. That annoys me. That really irritates me, and I haven't really been one to talk about race, but it's getting annoying for the fact that I'm in here trying to receive an education. I'm trying to pass my classes. I'm trying to graduate, and I'm asking you for help, and you can't help me. I'm getting good grades in your class, and you're astonished that I'm getting good grades in your class. What has this world turned into? I didn't want to, you know, take it any further than it was. I just made sure that I got my grade in that class, and I never have anything to do with that professor again, because it's just so amazing. I would go to other professors and they will help me. They will make sure that they don't give me the answers, but they will help me as much as possible. But then when I come to you and I'm asking you a simple question so I can get my work done, you're telling me that you should figure it out, and then you're giving the girl right next to me the answers. I'm really angry. I'm really angry. Like, even just remembering this happened earlier this year around like February-ish, and I'm still angry. I'm very, very, very angry. Gotta calm myself down. And it's just something that really annoys me. Like, there aren't enough black people in the field. We don't have any black professors in the field as well. So, you know, it's kind of difficult when you're trying to get an education from someone and you're thinking like this person might just be racist for the fact that, you know, he didn't help me. So yeah, anyway, at my school we don't have any black professors in the field, unfortunately. Hopefully that's something that will change very, very soon. Yeah, I don't want to be a professor. I can't teach people, so that's not my calling, so I probably won't be doing that. Yeah, so that's my story time for today. My racist professor wouldn't help me. I don't want to go any further because I will probably continue to rant and rant and rant about how angry I am. If you guys would like to see any more storytime videos, make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section below, and I will try to get onto that. Make sure you watch my other storytime videos. I will link them down in the description bar below so you can check those out as well. And what else? That's basically it. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.